Morgan Stanley just hinted that Tesla could have autonomous robotaxis in 2024. They have come a long way. In 2019, they had a Tesla stock price target of $10, adjusted for the current split at 67 cents. That was their bear case, of course, but now their price target is 383. Big change. Now, they couldn't help themselves but put this timeline here together of what Elon Musk said over the years, starting with 2018. I think the capability will be there, full self-driving, towards the end of this year. This was said in Q4 of 2018. Next one, I think we will be feature complete, full self-driving this year. I am certain of that. That is not a question mark. Very strong statement by Elon Musk, Q4 2018. Now, mostly Teslas are feature complete. So this is mostly true. I think we will still need to do a little bit of an upgrade for the hardware, but that statement was mostly true. So it's interesting to see that what came true. In 2019, in Q1, Elon Musk said, "I feel very confident predicting autonomous robotaxis for Tesla next year." Ouch. That was 2019. Yeah, that's quite a few years ago. FSD will become the most important source of profitability for Tesla. That's Q4 2021. I deeply believe in that. And long term, and we look decades out, I think energy and the Tesla bot will contribute even more. I'm highly confident we will solve full self-driving, and still seems to be this year, Q2 2022. And then one more time, when asked on FSD Dojo Optimus success, I don't want to steal thunder from AI Day, Q2 2022. But this is where Morgan Stanley starts to hint at Tesla having robotaxis in 2024. So look right here in Master Plan Part 2, Elon uses a 6 billion miles traveled mark as the biggest hurdle needed to achieve regulatory approval. And currently, Tesla claims that Tesla has the most miles driven on full self-driving. And then Morgan Stanley says, based on historical data provided by Tesla and our own estimates, we conservatively, I emphasize, conservatively, believe that FSD Beta is on track to surpass the 6 billion miles traveled by 2024, further surpassing 50 billion miles by fiscal year 2028, and then approaching 150 billion miles cumulative. So this, I would say, is them hinting that they think there is a chance, there is a good possibility we will have robotaxis by then. And that's from Morgan Stanley. I would say that's a pretty strong statement. I mean, they don't exactly have the best history with Tesla, do they? That 67 cent stock prediction. Yeah, so let's take a look at what's going on with full self-driving. Sawyer just made this Twitter thread right here. I did about 1,500 miles on FSD Beta version 10.12 during the summer, so I feel I have a good understanding how the version would behave. First impressions, I've done about 70 miles so far on the newest version, 10.69.2.2. And it's noticeably better, which I do see that very clearly from the videos. It's definitely a noticeable change. You can just watch through my channel the videos that I've done, and you will see, like, there are some spectacular moments that's very impossible before to replicate consistently over and over again. 10.69 is definitely a lot smoother, definitely. My issue with 10.12 of beta favoring the middle to the left of wide residential roads is essentially gone with the newest version, which is awesome. Creeping out of stop signs seems more confident now, definitely. Whereas before, I noticed more hesitation. We know that the biggest hurdle for Tesla to deliver more vehicles is batteries. That's the biggest constraint. So this is interesting. Average battery size per vehicle by geography, North America has a battery that's more than 50% larger than that of China. So I understand why Tesla may want to open another factory in China, because their market share over there is not exactly the highest, although they do deliver a lot of vehicles. But think about this, if you're limited by batteries, you can sell 50% more vehicles. If we just go by these numbers, these are not going to be exactly, you know, Tesla is a premium brand, and in China we do have a lot of small vehicles with tiny batteries, so I do understand that. But just generally, people will be okay with less range in certain parts of the world because, for example, when I lived in Europe, I basically just drove around the city, nowhere much to go. But here in North America, you drive a lot more. Like in Europe, I basically never had to drive. I set up my life in a way where I didn't even have to drive, and that was very, very convenient. But over here, you have to have a car, so you want a lot more range. So it does make sense for Tesla to focus a lot more on those other markets, but because of geopolitical situation, I do like the idea of really focusing on North America here, because those until we reach that limit of demand, I would like Tesla to focus more on North America, because the market here is going to be extremely steady. The geopolitical situation in relative terms is a lot more predictable over here than it is in those two other continents at this moment. Here's how I know, just another reason how I know that there is no issue with demand for Tesla vehicles. Painter said, this is an article from Electric, Painter said that, like Hertz, the company is not getting any discount from Tesla for its large order. These large fleet orders are not getting any discounts. And here's some incredibly good news overall from Sawyer. I was curious how much the price of some EV materials have changed since their peaks earlier this year. Aluminum down 45%, nickel, super important for batteries, 55% down. Manganese, also important for batteries, 8% down. Iron ore, 36% down. Titanium, 42% down. Lithium is only up 2%. Everything else is trending down. So this is going to be really good for inflation that we actually want to see, and for Tesla's pricing. That's also going to be good news. Demand is probably going to explode even further if the prices are cut, because the costs are coming down. Let's hope that this continues. I do get asked about interest rates and Tesla stock and just the stock market overall. Should I be buying more stocks right now? The interest rates are increasing like crazy, and it appears to be that, you know, it will keep increasing. So what do? Do you just sell everything? Well, if I had S&P 500, which is what I had before I had Tesla stock, I didn't have any other stocks at that moment other than S&P 500, and I just had all my stock portfolio in that, and I completely ignored the whole time what the Fed was doing. So for Tesla stock, it's actually even better, because when you think about this, and if you want, you can pause the video and take a look at this chart, and you will see that interest rates don't really affect the stock market that much. It's quite insignificant in a way. And when you think about Tesla as a company, there's no debt. When you think about interest rates, why are high interest rates bad for Tesla? Come up with some reasons. Okay, so number one, you could say, well, if Tesla has debt now, if that interest rate is not fixed, or if Tesla needs new debt, that's going to be not very great. But Tesla has zero debt, basically, and Tesla does not need to raise money through debt. Second big consideration would be Tesla sells a product that requires financing for most people to buy it. So if interest rates are higher, the cost of that vehicle is basically goes up. Except there's so much demand for Tesla vehicles that it doesn't matter. It completely doesn't matter. And if you really want to geek out, you can see here real S&P 500 index on the left side right here, and then you also see the interest rates at that time, and then what S&P 500 was. You can pause the video if you'd like to see this whole thing. And, you know, over a long time, I wouldn't really be worried specifically for Tesla stock. Now, if you are not holding just Tesla stock alone, you should pay attention to interest rates unless you're just holding S&P 500. If I was just holding S&P 500, you know, the reason why I got into S&P 500 is because you just put the money in there and you never need to worry about some crazy news happening. You never need to worry about looking at the news every single day. You never need to worry about looking at your portfolio. Sure, if you hold it for an extended period of time, you're going to lose, your portfolio will be down 50%. Multiple times throughout your life if you hold that portfolio for like 4 decades. But it comes back, and it comes back really strong. And on average, it still returns around 10% when we round it up. So I like S&P 500 because it's set and you just set it and forget about it. Now with Tesla stock, I don't think you can just leave it and forget about it and never look at the news. I think you should be looking at the news pretty much every single day if you are all in to Tesla stock. If it's a small position in your portfolio, then you decide what you need to do. But I myself, you know, I have money in Tesla stock, so I'm looking exactly what the market is doing and what Tesla stock is doing. Right now, rising interest rates, that's zero concern for Tesla stock. If you own some other stocks, I would be quite concerned. But if I just own S&P 500, I would just, unless you are trying to time it, which I don't recommend it. Really don't recommend that unless you are about to retire and you want to cash out your money. That's a whole different thing if you want to protect your money, but if you're looking for a return and your retirement is still 20 years away, it's a whole different story. And then Dylan from Electrified had this chart as well. You can pause the video to take a look at how the stock market does. You can make your own conclusions, but for me, especially for Tesla stock, I am completely ignoring what the Fed is doing. I don't see, if anything, this makes Tesla stock a more attractive option for me because other companies that have a lot of debt, they are going to struggle, and Tesla is going to keep winning because it does not rely on financing for operations. It doesn't have any debt, and there's insane demand for a vehicle. So even if customers need to pay a lot more, it's gonna be fine. So why do I only own Tesla stock? I have 48 reasons why I only own Tesla stock. It's actually more, but I just covered 48 reasons that are less common that for people to share. I talk about those in this video. Click on it right now and I'll see you there. My name is Matt Posius. Thank you very much.